This is 37th Street Radio and TV, and of course, we are out here hooking up with the best of the best when it comes to interviews, and we have another special guest today. So, guest, please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Mwangi. I'm a model. I'm also a marketing professional. It's really amazing to be on this platform.
Yeah, so I just want us to talk about your journey, and I'm very interested in where did your journey in modeling start?
Okay, good. My journey in modeling started about 2018 when I was back in college. But I like to say that it started way before that when I was a kid and I'd watch fashion videos, and somehow I knew I wanted to be doing that. But officially I started modeling in 2018. I started by going to auditions. I'd see a casting call, I'd show up, get rejected. I think that's a really big part of modeling. I got my first big show, if I may call it, in 2019 when I did Fashion IT with Mocha's Model and Dorothy Oliech. And then from there, I just kept making connections, doing more work, doing a lot of collaboration in 2020, which was during COVID. And yeah, here I am now. So right now, I'm basically just also doing a bit more collaborations. I'm trying to build my book. I'm looking for more opportunities. So I think my book is a really big part of that. It's the first step to getting more opportunities. So
Yeah. Yeah, so I want to know, like, you chose to pursue this professionally, and of course, it's a field that maybe you didn't even know anybody. So I just want to know, like, how was it choosing to pursue this professionally, and what gave you the courage to pursue, even though maybe you don't know anybody, people are trying to, those who are being locked. So, like, what gave you the energy to just continue pursuing this?
I think what kept me going was just the fact that I was genuinely interested. So I started off by, you don't know anyone. You want to get into a skill. At that time, there wasn't exactly schools you could just walk into and say you want to be a model. So it's just doing basic research. That's how I started. I'd go to the smallest and the biggest of what are they called? Casting calls. So I just started with the network that I had around me, and then even the quality and the number of casting calls that I came across just increased with time. So I kept going. Also remember, as a new person in the industry, you're probably gonna get to meet people who know what they're doing, and those are the guys who often get this job that you audition for. So again, as I mentioned, there was a bit of rejection. You go to a casting call and there's like 300 people who showed up. The casting manager has a very specific a client brief of what they're looking for, and sometimes you may not be you may not fall into that. So there's a bit of rejection, but with time, the more you keep showing up, the more you keep networking, meeting more people, the more you get better, you get access to learning. So I think that kept me going, because it wasn't the same. Each and every other audition I went to, it was different, and I was also different because I kept learning and growing. So yeah, I think that's what I would say.
I really want to know for you, because I've just came to learn that there are very many models, like commercial models, high fashion models. So in which category are you?
I fall under high fashion model, but that's what I wanted to do from the onset. I knew that I wanted to be a high fashion model. I wanted to do runways. I also wanted to do editorial photography. So those are the opportunities that to date I'm still chasing. I would like to get into commercial modeling though. I think it's also a really good space to be in. I think there's a lot more opportunity now. I keep seeing auditions and castings every other day. But for now, I'm just a high fashion model.
Yeah, so when you started pursuing this professionally, I just want to know the reaction of maybe your parents or friends. Like, maybe did they think, why are you trying this? Just look for a job or something like that?
Well, I think the overall feedback is people don't quite understand it. They don't understand modeling as a professional. So when I told my mom I have to go out and do photo shoots, and this was in the middle of COVID, she's like, what are you going to do with these pictures? Like, can't you do something else? Can you just stay in the house? I think people don't understand modeling as a profession. And that's why all these questions and maybe any negative feedback can come. My friends are overly supportive. I have a really great support system on the side of my friends. They're always helping me up, always sharing opportunities. But my family is where I face a bit of resistance. But to date, they still support me. Yeah, they endorse what I'm doing. Yeah, and I'm hoping to see where that goes.
I want to know if you, in your early stages, I want to know if you experienced any self-doubt, and how did you deal with that? Or you were just confident from the word go?
No, I wasn't confident. Well, I mean, again, I was very interested, but also as a person, I'm a little bit more reserved. So there was definitely moments where I either was doubtful if I could make it. Going to a casting and not getting good feedback also kind of puts you down. But I just, always brace myself for the next one. Like if this one was bad, I'd show up for the next one. And I started to have good days, and that kind of boosts your confidence. So again, for me, it's more about just showing up. Just even however you feel, if you have self-doubt, feel like you're not good enough, or if you get there and the girls are like 5'10" and you're only at 5'7", just show up, do your thing, and keep going. Yeah.
In the level where you are right now, are you, I want to know if you are signed to an agency, because there are models who are signed to agencies, and then they are the ones who are doing it independently. They have an arrangement with maybe their manager, and they just work together. So for you, how is it?
Right now, I'm working independently, but to be honest, I have not been very proactive in looking for agencies. I was signed back in 2019, I think, for a year. It was great. I had a quicker flow of gigs coming in, but I felt that I wanted to get a bit more freedom, which is why I opted to work independently for the past 2 years. But right now, I think I would be open to being signed, especially by an agency that can give me more of a global platform. So it's not something that I'm entirely opposed to. But working, they both have their perks. If you're new to the industry, it makes a lot of sense to actually get signed, because that's now how you get acclimated with all the different networks, the photographers, other models, and then from there you can consider other options.
I want to know if, from compared to when you started and where you are right now currently, I just want to know if you can, do you really see progress in your career and in the industry, or we are just mark timing at the same position?
Do I see progress in the industry?
In the
I
industry,
definitely
yourself.
in myself. Let me start with the industry. With the industry, I think so. I've been part of projects recently that have shown me that there's a bit more inclusion in the fashion space. There's definitely a lot more happening in the fashion scene too. There's a lot more noise. There's a lot more people doing their own fashion brands. And these are local guys. These are just people I know. These are people living in Nairobi. So I think there's that. And also the best thing that I love so much for industry is that there's a lot of, it feels like it's a web. Everyone is connected. If you need to get to a photographer or a makeup artist or something, they're just a phone call away. And that's amazing. And I think for the future, we just need to focus on building that web more so that we can pull in all the resources we need to kind of build our own economy. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of progress, and I'm excited to see where that goes. For personally, I would say yes. I would say yes. When you start as a model, you think I want to walk on runways, and you think that's just walking. Like everyone can walk. I'll just show up and I'll walk. But you realize that it's an actual technique. There's a technique to walking, there's a technique to posing. And I think the past 3 years have been so instrumental into helping me learn the skill. I don't think I'm perfect yet, but at least I think I'm learning. So yeah, I've definitely grown. Even the work that I'm putting out now feels a lot more different from the work that I started off with. So
you see, there are very many models. I want to know I want to know how you personally, you make sure that you're on top of your game, because there are very many models in Kenya, of course.
Yeah. I think that would fluctuate sometimes. I don't put out work as consistently, mostly because I think I still haven't figured out what my sound is or what my style is. So for me, all this work that I'm doing is more about discovering that. So my best game for me would probably mean that I feel confident in my work and I feel that my work is something that I have put out. See, with modeling is you go somewhere and you have to execute someone else's vision. But for me now, I want to kind of get into executing my own vision. I want to get into creative design. So for me right now, my work, if it feels expressive and it feels true to me, and that I actually like my work, I think that's staying on top of my game.
You know, if you say you are a model, people usually really look at your fashion. So I just want to know your fashion icon.
My fashion icon. Oh my God. Who's my fashion icon? When you asked the question, the first person that came to my mind was Kurt Cobain, who's a rock band. He's an artist. He dresses very like grunge and vintage, and my style is very, very vintage. I like old. I like bell bottoms. I like shoulder pads, long dresses. My style is everywhere. My first fashion icon would definitely be Kurt Cobain. Who else is my fashion icon? Let me say Naomi Campbell. Both of them have something in common. They both push boundaries of what is acceptable or what is the norm. So yeah, I think those are my two fashion icons.
And then another thing I noticed when I was looking at your Instagram, like
Mm-hmm.
you don't like, I don't know if I should call it over posting. Your posts are
Uh-huh.
very deliberate. So I just want to know what influenced that decision.
Uh, uh, Funny stories. I didn't actually join Instagram till it must have been around 2020. So at the time when I joined, it's just I needed a place like a platform where people can find my work, or if people can, just look me up and see me. So for me, my Instagram is not like a very social, it hasn't been a very social place. It's just a place where I could display my work. So that's what informed that decision. But right now, I've joined a platform called Behance. It's a platform where creators can share the content, all of the art and the work that they're putting out. So let me explore, posting my work over there and see how I can be sharing a bit more of my life on Instagram.
Can you comfortably pay your bills by modeling in Kenya?
No, no, not right now. I wouldn't say right now I would be I wouldn't be able to comfortably pay my bills or to even maintain a lifestyle working as a model. But that's just, I think, where I'm at this stage. I know models who would easily support themselves through modeling, but I think I'll get there. And I think also other models can get there. But as of now, no. I think in the first few years of your modeling, when you're still getting used to the industry, it makes more sense to have something that can actually cater to your bills, because you'll end up getting frustrated as opposed to enjoying your work. Because if it doesn't pay you, then you start to hate it. Mhm.
What do you think can be done or changed so that this becomes an industry where guys can be able to even earn a living and take care of their bills and stuff?
That's a good question. I think the trend that I'm seeing now is, again, as I said, there's a lot more brands that are popping up. There's even fashion designers. There's a lot of production houses. I think if we can all just find a way to work together and build a local economy, because the story right now is that as a model, the only place you can go to get paid is abroad. But that doesn't make sense with all of the talent and the skills that we have. So for me, I think if we focus more on building the local ground, if it's any productions, we do them here. If it's a runway, let's do it here in Nairobi, and let's find out how we can also influence the guys who are outside that we go to work for can come here, so that we can build this. If we build our ground, then we'll be okay.
As we are finishing up, I want you to talk about some of the things that you can look back and you can term them as achievements, maybe in terms of gigs, maybe you got some opportunity that you really feel is an achievement. You can talk to us about that.
Okay. So far, all of my biggest achievements have been the runways. I'm really I want to do runway. I want to keep doing runway. So every single one of the runways that I've done have been a very big point. It's like a pivoting point. So the first one was Fashion IT, which I did courtesy of Dorothy Oliech, who's the co-founder of Mocho's Models. I did another one with her same year in 2019. And then the most recent one has been Tribal Chic of last year. That was also quite amazing. There's something about runways that it gets me. And I hope I get to do more. Other highlights have been, I think the most recent one is partnering up with a photographer. I get really excited about meeting people that I am creatively compatible with. As I mentioned, I like to put out work that I feel has my essence. So partnering up with photographers who have that interdependent mindsets, who want to collaborate, who want to put out work, who want to create art, that also is definitely a highlight.
What's the most important lesson in your journey?
Oh, the most important lesson is even in the face of rejection, just keep going. I think a lot of models would say that. People in the creative industry, just keep going, keep at it. Don't give up. No isn't the final.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for giving us your time. I'm very grateful.
Thank you so much, Barry.